Imagine yourself caught in a hurricane, winds whipping around you at 130 kilometers an hour. Now imagine you're on a sailboat in those winds in the middle of the Atlantic. That's where several sailors found themselves this past weekend, caught in sudden stormy weather way off the coast of Newfoundland, until they were finally rescued about 36 agonizing hours later. Today, one of them talked about what happened. Carolyn Ray has his story.
On a picturesque morning in Halifax Harbour, Queen Mary II arrived, carrying one extra passenger than when she left Southampton. Mervyn Wheatley beamed as he took his first steps on shore after his race across the Atlantic went horribly wrong.
The contrast between what I just left, which was a boat in fairly poor condition with water over the floorboards and so on, and then this magnificent stateroom was just surreal.
Last Thursday, Wheatley and his fellow skippers came across a monster of a storm. They faced hurricane-like conditions, including 15-meter waves that flipped Wheatley's yacht.
I knew I had a problem because the boat was upside down. And when it came up again, which it did fairly quickly, it was a shambles.
The floorboards were ripped up, the steering gone, water was coming in through a broken window. Wheatley, a retired British Navy captain, had just landed in Canada's search and rescue zone. That's a 36-hour voyage from here. Unbeknownst to him, his yacht had automatically sent out an SOS. A few hours later, he heard the drone of a plane, a Canadian Hercules.
And that was a huge relief. And actually, I was so relieved, I couldn't even speak on the radio to start off with. I was quite surprised how taken aback I was emotionally.
So we've had some wild cases, multiple ships even, but nothing of the intensity of these at least 6 yachts.
Wheatley wasn't the only one who had to be saved. In Halifax, a complex international rescue mission was underway at the Joint Rescue Coordination Center. They used a Cormorant helicopter to pull an Italian sailor to safety. They enlisted the help of an oil and gas ship to save another. And in Wheatley's case, the Queen Mary II was called into action.
We train for these all the time, but it's the first time we've been underway at sea in heavy swell with quite strong winds.
I think at the heart of all search and rescue is a Good Samaritan variable, that we're obligated to help anybody, no matter their wealth or their employment.
During the rescues, one question wasn't asked: who pays? Newton says these officers are simply doing their jobs.
And indeed, I don't think you can calculate what I've learned and what our crews learned by flying in this internationally coordinated effort into the deep Atlantic.
Wheatley's Tamarind is now lost at sea, and the sailor is flying home tonight. After years of working on the water, he says this won't stop him from sailing the Atlantic and risking the elements again. Carolyn Ray, CBC News, Halifax.